Whew. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Los Def, and I'm back here for another episode 164. And if you're brand new to the channel, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the content if you know somebody that's also interested in it. And if you want to join the conversation, also, leave a comment below. Leave a comment. So we're back here for episode 164. And let's see, today we got some headlines, and we got some videos that we're gonna kind of share and supplement as we talk about and react to some of these things. We're gonna talk a little bit about sports, and just kind of talking about a couple of different things that kind of went viral. Maybe touch a little bit. So we're not gonna talk and recap the whole debate or anything like that, the Harris and Trump debate from the other week, but we definitely gonna focus on the linguistics, the language, right? Like, so I read this article that was like talking about and analyzing the word choice and like what it kind of says about each candidate and like their character, so to speak. So let's so I've been seeing all these different headlines recently. So let's get into it. I've been seeing all these recent headlines, and the Diddy headlines have been trickling in, and like they were just kind of like certain things were kind of light. Certain things kind of, we heard about it, but then, they kind of got swept under the rug because it felt like he was getting sued by a lot of people. So the first one that just to mention, like, did y'all know that he faced $100 million lawsuit, right? And it was by this guy who I guess worked for him at one point in time back in the day, but basically he alleges that Diddy assaulted him in like the 90s. And so this guy was around. And the thing is, though, Diddy did not like necessarily respond to this in court. And basically, I think Diddy tried to press him and was like telling the dude, like, yo, you know how we get down. And the guy was like, I don't like how we get down. Well, the thing is, though, this man is in prison. Like, he's in prison for basically some of the similar crimes in terms of like, you know, sexual crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's already in there for that. And Diddy did like almost like just didn't even address it. And then the judge ordered Diddy to pay $100 million, and it was like $10 million like every month. The thing is, though, this man is incarcerated for like a heinous crime, like and for bad crimes. Like, he's not getting out anytime soon. So it's like he won, but he didn't win. And like really the government gets that money, like the state or maybe federal government, they're the ones who get that money. And so this man, even though he might have won this lawsuit against him, he is not probably ever going to see that money. And then Dawn Richard or Dawn Richard, like I heard a reporter call her Dawn Richard, which I could see that. But anyway, Dawn Richard, she was part of Danny Kane, and she was part of like his little off group that he made, Diddy Dirty Money. Well, she sued him as well, and she's making claims that she even witnessed a lot of like the Cassie abuse. She made some claims that Diddy used to like grope her, like if she was like changing she was getting ready for a show or something like that, he would often like kind of barge in and grope different parts of her body. Uh Despite like her efforts to get him to stop, but like she's the one who saw, she's the one who actually she was one of the people that like was seeing the Cassie abuse all the time. Now the one girl that was a part of Disney King was that white girl name, but Aubrey Day, and she been saying that Diddy was on some stuff, and I don't know if people was like giving her no credibility because she's like white girl, and maybe because she's always been kind of vocal about like the whole Diddy stuff, and just in general, like just Diddy as a person, Diddy as a businessman. She's always been pretty critical. So I think a lot of people look at anything that Aubrey Day was saying. with a grain of salt and maybe looking at her as like maybe she didn't have no credibility. But the big case has come, and Diddy just got arrested and he just got denied bail more than once. But we're gonna share a video here that kind of talks about the charges that he's facing. Right. So this is straight from like TMZ. And we're gonna get into this real quick here. Oh, yeah, we gotta reset this joint. Here it is. Okay. All right. Let's share this video real quick. And then we'll react. All right. Optimize. You know what? No, we're not gonna optimize for video, but we are gonna share the sound. Let's share the sound. Okay. Oh, yeah, make it. All right. Here we go. So let's check this out. Um, so this is the U.S. attorney, and he wants no bail because he thinks that Diddy is a flight risk, which Diddy is a flight risk. He has mad money. He can just like dip off whenever he wants to. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look here.
Announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years.
Like it makes you think that what if he was making money off of this, like if if this was like his side hustle, it kind of makes sense in a way because a lot of times we've been feeling like Bad Boy has had no run. Now, granted, but like Diddy was always like in the money, and because we found out like even though he had some type of he was making money through Ciroc, we found out that he didn't actually own Ciroc, whatever. So like, how was this man making all this money? I know Sean John was like it, urban wear. It was on its way out, but it did still remain a brand when it came to like formal wear and stuff like that. But um, I don't know. Like, was this a hustle? Was this a side hustle? Was this something that he was like making money off of, or this is just what he decided? Like, is this just a proclivity? Is this just some freaky stuff that he was into? Or was this like his night job? You know what I'm saying? Like, this was something that like he really like. This is more than just like a kinky thing. Like, this was like a lifestyle or like his being, so to speak, his purpose almost. Let's keep going.
And in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
Bam.
As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
Bam.
And that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims.
Yeah, to use so that's what I'm saying. Like it's just getting weirder, maybe more believable, maybe more like it's creating a situation where there's like not much wiggle room, right? Because um, you know, the victims, it seems like there might be some men involved, but there's like a lot of women involved, and like you're using like you're using male sex workers to do these different things, and then like it's not even that you're just it's not even that you're just like trying to persuade people to do it. You're making them do it, and you're using drugs and using alcohol and using violence and intimidation to get people to be nasty. Like that's wild.
And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. In March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs's residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs's electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
That's
As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity.
That's nasty.
And it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced.
Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning for seeking pretrial detention. I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
Is your office concerned with Combs' safety in custody, given what happened with Epstein?
So we are concerned with anyone's safety whenever they are detained prior to trial. It's part of our obligations to keep people safe as well. It's part of the criminal justice system. So, but I do not draw any sort of connection between Jeffrey Epstein's suicide and what may or may not happen to any other defendant while they are detained pretrial. And of course, the decision whether to detain the defendant will be up to a judge. Our position is that pretrial detention is warranted under the law and based on the facts of this case, and I'll leave it at that. Today I'm announcing the unsealing.
All right, so this was a little thing that showed the actual charges. So for racketeering alone, that's life in prison. Life in prison, y'all. Not nothing else. You know what I mean? Not nothing lesser than that. Life in prison for racketeering. And that's like the money. Like that's like the you know, that racketeering is like almost like a gangster charge, right? Like racketeering charge. What is racketeering? Simply put, racketeering means engaging in a legal scheme. So any type of scheme. Okay, like the RICO. All right. So being part of the RICO. So it's RICO stands for. Okay. Wow. Yeah, Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. Described 35 offenses, including kidnapping, murder, bribery, arson, extortion. Yeah, so it's a lot of different things that can be, um, if it's a scheme to murder, like an elaborate scheme to rob or bribe or extort, then so this would be an elaborate scheme to like uh s- traffic, right? And to assault people. So that's that. Um, Sex trafficking, maximum life in prison, right? And minimum 15 years. And then transportation for prostitution, maximum 10 years in prison. So Diddy is likely going away, bro. He's likely going away. And yo, they said, yo, oh my God. So obviously people are making jokes. Obviously, they said that like if Diddy get locked up, he's gonna be slamming the soap down in the shower. They made jokes about the thousand bottles of lube, right? And then people were saying like, yo, yeah, I see somebody say, I think it might have been my cousin. They was like, yo, are they going like, you know how like when there's a drug bust and they take a picture of all the evidence, like are like were they like doing that with all the lube? 1,000 bottles is crazy, is very crazy. Um, it's just yeah, it's kind of becoming like signed, sealed, and delivered. And case closed, grand opening, grand closing on this case because yeah, it's like if you're nasty, you're nasty. If you start forcing people into your nastiness, that's when you're getting crazy. Once you start harming people to get into your nastiness, you're a little bit of a psychopath or sociopath. But then, yeah, then it's the aspect of like recording it. So like obviously if he's from the old school, people don't usually like record their crimes, but you would record something if you're gonna use it against somebody. So like this man is like, possibly extorting people, saying like, oh, yo, don't you don't want to do this. I'll show everybody what you was doing. Um so it's the fear of that. But then they making it seem like, what if he's not even like they making it seem like there's a lot of other people involved and like maybe some important people. So like, maybe he's like the Hugh Hefner of it, but like somebody else helped to kind of like really construct this and put it together. But yeah, it's hard to you can't defend Diddy no more like at all. Like I think we've been stopped defending Diddy, but like wow, two charges that equal up to life in prison each. Like to do double, like just say if he would lose and go to trial, blow trial, and he gets the maximum, like to get a like double life sentence is crazy. Not that it's not deserved, but it's just like to be one of the top, most wealthiest guys, and then to be catching a double life is wild, man. It's wild. So, what do you think, man? What do you think about what's going on? How long until this is how long before we actually get a trial? Or what else is gonna be coming out? What else is gonna be coming out? That's the thing too. Like, so you probably got mad. They probably got gigabytes. They probably got terabytes worth of freaking um sexual activity and things like that. So like once like people are implicated and involved in it, like what do they get in trouble? Do they, you know what I'm saying? Like do they get exposed? How do they protect the people that even the perpetrators that are doing stuff to the victims though? How do we protect the identities of anybody involved, whether they were just kind of like a bystander or a true victim? How do you protect those people? So I don't know, man. It's wild, man. It's wild. It's a new day and age, man, and it's just getting weirder and weirder. It's just getting weirder and weirder. All right. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Moving on, moving on, moving on. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is like just an example of what we call rage bait. It's something that just kind of gets circulates around the internet, and it's here to get people to. I feel like they put stuff like this out there to make people angry and to make people react, kind of like clickbait, but like it's like purposely making people angry for certain reasons. And it was about you know, I don't know if they're trying to promote this as like a actual viable career option, but they reported that OnlyFans creators made more money in last year, the 23-24 season or whatever that year. Um, they made more than the 23-24 NBA payroll combined, right? They made more than that. And like it's like a lot of money. So like if we look at the stat, it says, hold on real quick. I'm just gonna pull it up. Yeah, $6.6 billion. Let me just share it. Let me show y'all. So y'all know I ain't making this up. You see that 6.6 billion 2023 OnlyFans content creators. And then if you think about last season basketball, $4.9 billion in the NBA combined payroll. So what do those numbers mean? Like why would they highlight that? Why would they highlight that? So there's a lot of things that's wrong with that stat. Um just publicizing how much OnlyFans creators made last year, it feels like that feels like an ulterior motive. Like there's no real reason why you're telling people how much these content creators made, unless you're trying to say like, hey, look what you can do. Why are we promoting that? So that's the first thing. I got a problem with it, right? But it's also a very misleading stat, right? So in the 23-24 season last year, last NBA season, there was a count of 560 active NBA players all throughout the year, right? So that's people that's getting cut. That's people that getting 10-day contracts. That's people that's going back and forth to the G League, all that, right? So like if you were on active roster and the combined payroll was $6.6 billion, right? There was only 560 players though in the NBA in the NBA last year. 560 players, right? So if you want to say, oh no, the NBA payroll was 4.9 billion. So even so about almost $5 billion. But still out of only 560 players though. 560 players made that much money in payroll. OnlyFans, they said 6.6 billion. You know how many OnlyFans creators there were last year? There was 4.1 million OnlyFans creators. So like we can only the reason why it makes people mad and argue because it's like why are we even comparing it? There's no comparison. 506 because people are like, well, yeah, there's 10 times the amount of people in OnlyFans. I'm like, no, it's not 10 times the amount. It's not 10 times the amount. We're talking, I mean, like you know, we're talking lots. We're talking lots more. So for 560 to 4.1 million, that's not even a comparison. That's not even a comparison. So like obviously we know that there are big content creators, like the famous ones that make a lot of money. They still don't touch necessarily the NBA salary. It's easier to become an OnlyFans creator. Like anybody literally can do it. Uh, and again, maybe they're just pointing out like just what kind of money is in it, but either way, it's a bad message, right? Um, there anybody can do OnlyFans. There was 4.1 million of them now, and then we also know that like many of them don't really do that well and make that much money. So like it's not a viable option, right? Like oh my God, it's not a viable option at all. It's definitely setting a bad example. It's definitely setting a tone to where like yeah, like everything that adults like I think that young people need to learn this is that like all money ain't good money, and then that everything no, even if an adult is doing it, that doesn't mean that it's the best thing to do. Like even if they're doing something that's not necessarily illegal, right? Because I think we all the time we kind of just lean towards the things that are illegal. But what about the things that just ain't gonna make you feel good after you do it, right? What about the things that are like low vibrational, low integrity, um, low self-esteem type of positions and things like that? And it's like, doing your own personal content like that, that's just it's for the birds. It's for the birds, man. But like don't put out a stat like that. Don't make these young people think that like that's something that they should even be considering. Like it's not something that if it's a last resort, you know what I mean? If you're already in that lifestyle, whatever, you grown, but like that's not something that we don't even want younger people to see that messaging, because then that's what they're going to default to. They're going to default to the money. They're not going to default to finding a purpose and making something feel real for them. So I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think? Why would they post something like that? What do you think? What's the motive behind that? But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. Speaking of OnlyFans, now this girl is not on OnlyFans, but it's just like she's kind of adjacent to it, whatever. But like, y'all know our one of our favorite internet comedians, right? Druski, right? Y'all know him. And remember this past summer, it felt like, what I mean, we seen him with the one and only in the bad Ruby Rose, and everybody was talking about like, oh my God, look at them. Look at their relationship. It's so cute. Oh, like, oh, check Drewski out. Like Drewski was getting getting the play. He was like, it was elevating him, at least in terms of recognition, right? Not saying, and Ruby Rose is not even like she's big in the hip hop community, but like I think by and large, most people don't know who Ruby Rose is. So he was just getting more notoriety on within our spaces. But I think having some good looking arm candy is not bad for any kind of brand. But then they kind of like abruptly broke up, and um this ain't the first time that she kind of spoke out against Drewski, but she made it seem like before that they was kind of like friends, that they weren't really dating and things like that. So who knows what was asked of her, but she came out and said, what she say? She said, and for the record, I never slept with that man, right? So I never slept with that man. She said, Ninja paid for the PR, not the pussy. So it said nigga paid for the PR, but not the pussy. So like, yeah. So what she's kind of indicating is that it was a manufactured and fake relationship. Like that's what it definitely seems like it. And Drewski I guess he's trying, I don't know if he's trying to save face, whatever, but he posted something and it was like to love, like the Nick Cannon and Kristen Milian. It was like love don't cost a thing. And like, if y'all remember that movie, like he was a nerd and like they concocted some scheme. He was paying her to help him kind of get swaggy, and then they became like boyfriend and girlfriend, but like it wasn't a real relationship. So like that's what like Drewski is maybe making light of it. Megan is like, oh, it's just like the movie. But like, so man, this is my problem, man. My thing is this: is like people like me, right, who are kind of cynical and skeptical about things, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist though. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like when you present, just because I see something don't mean it's real. Just because I saw it don't mean it's real, right? So like anytime I see stuff like this, and then like there be like all this like praise and congratulations, and then like there's just a lot of it that don't be making sense. Like there's a lot of this type of stuff that don't be making sense, and but like if I speak out too hard, if I speak out too much on it, then I look crazy. I'm the hater, yada yada yada. I'm doing too much. Um, that's what they make it. That's what they make it to be. Like I'm like like I'm doing too much because of my opinion being what it is. But then the facts always come out. The facts always come out. The truth always comes out. And it's never like with this, a lot of times with this celebrity stuff, it's never what they make it to be. It's never what it seems. You know what I'm saying? To me, it didn't look like Druski was with this girl. Now, if I keep saying it and I keep digging into it, I look wow. Like, why you hating on Druski? Are you mad because you can't bag the girl? Like, that's what it becomes. Like, that's what the argument becomes. Like, what are you just mad because you can't do it? No, I'm mad because this nigga lied about it and like had everybody fooled and everybody believing this. And he must ain't pay her enough, whatever, because like what would make her just unsolicited, like, at least to my knowledge, what would make her want to like express that? Like what would make her want to express that? Like that like whoa. Like it's not what you think. Like why would she get like that on that type of time? But it just goes to show you like that little relationship or whatever it was not real. These internet relationships do not be real. They do not be real. We need real evidence. Now, not a sex tape or nothing like that, but like we need real evidence, man. But I could tell that shit was not real, man. I could tell. What do you think? What did you think? Did you think it was real? What do you think? Moving on. All right. Next thing we're gonna talk about speaking kind of like, because Ruby Rose, even though she's an artist, she's kind of like that influencer type. She be, doing a lot of stuff for like Fashion Nova and whatever. But we're gonna talk about another influencer, one of the ones that we've talked about plenty of different times on this platform, and that's Brittany Renner. Now, before I play this video, did y'all know that Brittany Renner has supposedly converted to Islam? Like she's wearing kimar, right? Some people might call it hijab, but like yeah, a kimar, like she's wearing kimars on screen and stuff like that, and like I think I seen this. Or I've seen something that where it was like an announcement, like where she said she's converting to Islam, and like she just was talking about how like it's a work in progress, and like she's excited for this journey and things like that. And I'm just like, okay, now I didn't read that or see that before I seen this. I just see her in her kimar, and it's like it's kind of like shocking to me. So like let's hear what she got to say, and then we can react to this. All right. Let's share this video. Hold on. Where we at? Okay. Ah, let's share. We share screen. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Brittany Renner opens up about her financial struggles since changing her lifestyle. Oh, hold on. 1 second. Usually it's a mute. Hold on 1 second, yeah. All right, let me share this video real quick and then we'll react to it. Here we go.
Allahu Akbar. I've gone through a lot of changes internally, and as a result, my outer world has completely crumbled.
So, like, I don't know if that's an ironic laugh or like, because I didn't know she changed her lifestyle, supposedly. So, like, when I seen her laughing, I just feel like like, to me, my perception is that she's making a mockery of her new lifestyle and her practicing her new religion.
Sorry, Whoa! Wow. Leaving me incredibly uncertain in just about every area in my life. I have no idea where I'm going to live or how I'm going to provide for my son.
So that's something that people reacted to right away in the comments. It was like, don't you get 20K a month from PJ Tucker?
But Allah has moved mountains for me, and I trust that this will be no different. I feel like Alice when she ate the cookie and her feet went through the windows and she's crammed in the house like that. I've outgrown where I am. The facade is fading, alhamdulillah. And I'm at a place where I don't want anything that doesn't have my name on it. Take it away. It serves no purpose here. First of all, Allahu Akbar. I'm meant to have, because I can do a lot with a little. The facade is fading. And when the facade fades and all the BS is cleared out, it makes room for what has always been for you. And I don't want a penny more.
Okay. And then this is just like in August, Brittany started sharing photos dressed modestly. So like that's the thing. She in August, she was like changing her profile, but like that doesn't she could have been studying and practicing a little bit before that. I'm not too sure. First off, do y'all think she's really, changing her lifestyle and converting to another religion like that? I'm not too sure. Like I can't really call it. Like it's still, I don't know. And if she is, more power to her, but like I don't it's just something about her because Brittany Renner has always been like very provocative for content, right? So she always kind of like pushes buttons and pushes the envelope when it comes to like content and just trying to get attention. So like it's kind of hard to fully believe her, so to speak. But like people work, like I said earlier, people were commenting in the comment section saying, because she said something like she don't know where how to provide for her son. Well, to our knowledge, she was awarded $20,000 per month from PJ Tucker, right? So that not PJ Tucker, PJ Washington. She's offered that much money per month from her baby dad. So it's like you have ways to support your kid. Now, what do you do for a living? We don't know. We don't like I didn't know the first time. I didn't know what you did. Um it's just interesting. So like one thing I would say is that like there have been instances where we've seen Brittany Renner and has made it seem like she was like trying to like more so in 2024 she was talking about how she wanted to like change her life and things like that and like we seen some videos of that contrasts a lot of the things that we used to see before. And it's like it's good to see people like change and I guess grow and find like peace. But I'm just wondering, did we like low key did the internet shame did the internet like modest shame Brittany Renner? Like did we like scare her into living a different lifestyle? Did we shame her into living a different lifestyle? And it's kind of interesting to see. I'm wondering like how much the outside world played a role, or like how much did she have to kind of look within to like get to this point. But like I said, more power to her. But like I'm still for me the verdict is still out. If I definitely if I see anything to the contrary, I'm pouncing on it. And I'm like, see. But again, it is a work in progress for everybody. But it just out of nowhere for somebody like her. So, what do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section there. All right, so I don't have nothing to share in terms of videos, but so y'all mean last week it was the Trump and Harris debate, and just overall, like people feel like a lot of people that I seen feel that Kamala Harris won. There are still, Trump supporters feel that he won, obviously, but I feels like just in general, like the consensus is that Kamala not only did well, but that she did enough to win in that debate. There's been a lot of sound bites and quotes and things that have come from that debate, just from both sides. That's pun intended. But particularly with Trump has been saying like he's it came out through his vice president too that they be kind of like making up stories. So like he's talking about there's these migrant workers. Migrant don't mean you're an immigrant. Migrant literally means that you just move from one place to another. So, and it could be in the United States. It's not like immigration is different, but migrant workers, there's a large Haitian population in Springfield, Ohio, and I guess a lot of them happen to be migrant workers. And Donald Trump literally in the debate is making this claim that like there's all these illegals there, and that they're eating people's pets, they're eating the dogs, they're eating their cats and things like that. And it's like, what are you talking about? And then like it's just funny because as people fact check, they're realizing like, yo, the people that he's talking about, like this influx of people, they're not illegal immigrants at all. They're not undocumented people. These people have all of what they need. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I thought it was excuse me, I'm so sorry. I thought it was a little bit interesting that. But what I wanted to talk about was actually I wanted to talk about the psycholinguistics of this. So basically, the Trump and Harris debate shows how personality can reveal itself through language. So I read this article that talks about the psycholinguistics. So like instead of just psychoanalyzing based on behavior, we're psychoanalyzing based off of the words that these candidates use. So it says analysis of the choice of words, and this was by a website called The Conversation. Um, it says an analysis of the choice of words by American presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in a recent debate reveals 5 insights into their personalities. It says first, my co-author and I found that Trump made more self-references than Harris, whereas Harris referred more to others than Trump did. Trump also did not say Kamala or Harris even once, suggesting an attempt to anonymize the vice president. So that was like so basically, um, he's all about himself. I, and like she's talking about like we, and like making it seem like if she does become the leader, I mean, she's gonna be working with a lot of people as opposed to like somebody like Donald Trump that he needs the credit for everything, right? Second, it says both candidates equally emphasize geopolitics, mentioning Russia, Israel, Ukraine, and Iran. However, neither mention Palestine. All right, Palestine. So obviously, that was like those are talking points because of the leaders involved and like all this like conflict. So I mean, they said that basically they kind of talked about that stuff the same. Third, Trump used slightly more words that indicated uncertainty than Harris did. So all these people that are saying that Harris is an idiot, she don't know what she's talking about. Well, they're doing analysis and they found that like Trump is the one that like hesitates and like is unsure what's going on as opposed to like Harris seemingly, being a little bit more with it. Let's see. Fourth, Trump used more achievement-oriented words, whereas Harris used more that suggested affiliation and power. And then last, it says Harris focused more on the country's present state, whereas Trump emphasized the past and the future. Right. So, yeah, like that "Make America Great Again." It is misleading. It's not really, it's kind of confusing to a lot of people, like as to what are you talking about again? When was it great? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's just wild. So let's see. It says focusing on words. All right, hold on one second here. Okay. Uh so one thing they talked about is referencing, right? So it says Trump tended to focus more on himself as reflected by his higher use of the word I. So he wants credit. In contrast, Harris used we more frequently, signaling a focus on the collective responsibility. This asymmetry indicates that Trump centered more on individual agency while Harris leaned towards a more group-oriented approach. It also says here Harris often addressed Trump directly, which suggests she intended to gauge him in a more personal and direct conversation. In contrast, Trump avoided directly addressing Harris, instead using third-person references or speaking more broadly to the audience. That's interesting there. That's interesting. It says both candidates did use tentative language at relatively similar levels, with Trump slightly having the edge there. Let's see, motivation. So it says psychological research suggests people generally have three motivations: affiliation, achievement, and power. Therefore, we compared the two candidates' use of affiliation oriented words, achievement oriented words, and power oriented words. And it says Harris used affiliation related words more often than Trump. Neither candidates mentioned achievement stuff, like so she didn't get into like all her accolades and things like that. Neither did he. But it says Harris also used more power related words than Trump, suggesting that she placed an emphasis on control, authority, or influence in her speech. Right. So that's interesting. That's interesting. What did you think about the debate? Do you think that did Kamala get him out of here? Like, I feel like I said that she would get him out of here, and I said it because I felt like the playbook is a little bit out on Donald Trump in terms of like kind of language that he's going to use. But it's like, here's the thing: you might not like Kamala Harris, but it's a different she's a different woman candidate than Hillary Clinton. So Hillary Clinton, like people like there was a lot of people that didn't like her because they felt like she was a criminal. Now, granted, Trump is in not a better state, not a better place than her. But um yeah, like yeah, people really looked at Hillary as a criminal. And like the thing is, you might not like Harris. You might even think that she's incompetent in her job. But like as of right now, there's no scandal. There's no major scandals about Kamala Harris, that's like can hurt her campaign, and definitely not nothing where people can look at her as a criminal given her background, like yeah, I mean, being that she was a prosecutor, being that she, worked in law for, worked in law offices and in the legal realm of things, back in California, she probably did have to live a lot more on the straight and narrow than the average person. So so that was interesting there. And although we are nearing the end of this election process and everything like that, it's not over yet. Like it's not over yet. Things can go left. We've seen candidates do well in that's I know now I know what I wanted to talk about. We've seen candidates do well in debates, but then not do too well in the polls, but then win vice versa. So sometimes people win debates, but then they don't win the election. Some people win on the polls before the election, but then they don't win the election, right? Some people, you know what I'm saying? So like it's hard to tell. Um, yes, it's very hard to tell where we're at. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens, and election time comes, we'll all be at the edge of our seats seeing who's gonna be the next president, man, because no incumbent. We're gonna get a brand new president, man. Brand new president. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Last thing. A little bit about sports. Yeah, I mean, first off, y'all see my Packers. We pulled it off. Won the game with Malik Willis. I seen the full game. I seen like larger chunks of highlights in that game. Josh Jacobs, man, you fumbled in the end zone, bro. So the Packers beat the Colts 16-10. Held on to a lead for most of the game, had control most of the game. They rushed for over 260 yards. They had it was like something crazy, like 200 some yards in the first half, right? In the first half. So they was like really dominating. So most of their production came in the first half. Um, Matt LaFleur, and the offensive coordinator creating a great game plan, scheming runs in a way to establish a run. We ran the ball like 60 times, 56 times. I think it was like 56 carries altogether as a team. The Packers ran 56 times running the ball, average 7 yards a carry. 7 yards a carry, right? Was it 50 something? Yeah, it was something crazy like that. It was something. It was something really crazy. And Josh Jacobs like had a crazy game. Is I think he's top three now in the league. We're only 2 games in. So, but it looks like Jordan Love can make a return sooner than we think. But yeah, back to the game plan though. Malik Willis was 10 for 12 and he, threw for like 120 yards and 1 touchdown. So like very extremely efficient, and that's all we want. That's all you want from your guy. And if you can win games where you're running the ball and kind of controlling the time of possession and you're winning it without your star quarterback until they get back, like that's all most teams want. So shout out to the Packers for getting that win. In terms of the league though, we almost had a couple. We had a couple upsets last weekend. So the Raiders upset the Ravens, the Vikings upset the 49ers, the Falcons. Oh my God. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you. I love watching Eagles lose, right? I love watching Eagles lose. And for them to lose in the fashion that they lost, where Jalen Hurts basically throws a pick to end the game. Like they're just trying to get extra yard. They're trying to get into field goal range, and like he threw a really bad pass, and Jesse Bates baited him literally, and got that interception. So yeah, we had that upset. What else? What else? There was another up. There was another. Oh, the Bengals probably should have beat the Chiefs. I mean, I don't think that was a pass interference, man. Like slow motion, you could make anything look like pass interference, or you can make anything look like anything if you slow. You can make anything look like anything if you slow it down. However, in real time, it does. I mean, he's going for the ball. Like he didn't play through his back. Like I don't. People were saying that. Like I don't. I didn't see it that way. I seen it. Like he was going for the ball. He has a right to the ball. He didn't. He wasn't going after the defender. He was going after the ball. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I felt like there was like another upset, or like there was a potential for another. Oh my God. The freaking Cowboys got blown out. Oh my God. They got blown out by the Saints. That was disrespectful and disgusting. Like what happened there? What happened there? Right. So just real quick before we go, definitely wanted to just mention the injury bug, man, of the NFL right now, man. So right now, like in terms of big names, players that in fantasy and just in real life, like would make a big impact on these teams. We've seen a lot of big names out, right? So we got Tua, right? So Tua, he went out in the Thursday game with a concussion. They're still trying to figure out if he's gonna return. He's gonna be out definitely for week 3, but it could be a long-term thing. He could retire, he could walk away. I don't think he's gonna retire, but if you saw that hit though, the way it looked like a kamikaze mission, man. It looked like he was trying to get hurt. Like he doesn't protect himself. He didn't try to slide, but it looked like he put his shoulders down, but it looked like he like put his head into the guy. Like he was just like, "Yo, man, we're losing. I don't want to play no more this season. Let me just hurt myself." No, I don't know if that's the case, but he didn't look like he definitely put himself out of harm's way when he could have, right? So you got Tua. I think Tyreek Hill is a little bit banged up. You got Cooper Cup, right? So Cooper Cup just got hurt. Like, he's been back. Last year was like, oh, he's back. I mean, after he came back, he's like, okay, he is still him, right? And coming in with Puka Nakua, and looked like a nice tandem there. Well, but like Cooper Cup is out now. Puka Nakua, like he's gonna be out for a couple more weeks. And we already knew prior to the season starting that he was like gonna miss some games. Let's see. The 49ers got some losses. So CMC he's going on IR, which means that he's gonna be out for at least 4 weeks. And so he still got 2 3 more weeks left to be out. But then Debo Samuel is also out. Debo Samuel is also out. So Ayuk becomes like that number one guy there. Let's see, AJ Brown. AJ Brown might be going through the bye week, right? So he didn't play in that Monday night game. The Monday night game, he would have made a difference. He definitely would have made a big difference to the team, but he wasn't in there, and they got the loss. Let's see. Yeah, we said Tyreek Hill. Justin Jefferson also he went down in that 49ers game. He seems to be okay though. He seems to be somebody that's gonna bounce back. He said that he would not probably miss too many games. Bengals, they're missing T. Higgins still. T. Higgins is like working and maybe on his way back as well. There's a couple more, but the Cowboys lost their starting tight end, Jay Ferguson, and they got another guy in there. So we'll see how it is. Injuries always tend to hit teams. Hollywood Brown's out for the whole year. Like we learned that he's out for the whole year. Um, injuries hit everybody, but like that's why I'm saying to people like it'd be hard to like even when the team makes offseason moves, it's hard to look at a team on paper and expect that they're gonna be good in the NFL because injuries. Like everybody gets hurt, right? And like this is why people too, when they be like, oh, they should sign this person, they should sign this person, and they have like a long, extensive injury history. It's like, no, like you can't, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to be very vigilant. And like your availability is your best ability. Like they often say that, but like that's so true in the NFL. So we'll see. Hopefully no other big names go down, but like we all know that that's hard to avoid, and the injuries are going to be inevitable. But what did you think about this week? What you think, man? Did you watch the Trump Harris debate? You hearing about your boy Diddy, Brittany Renner changing that lifestyle, Rubi Rose not claiming Druski, and then we talked about the injury bug. Oh, OnlyFans creators making more than NBA players. Who would have known that? Because there's 4.1 million people doing it. Anyway, either way. Let's yeah, man. If you're still watching, I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the content. Join the conversation, leave a comment below. This is episode 163 of the Twitty Plus podcast, y'all. I'm out.